Welcome to Mount Olympus RC. If you're joining us for the first time, it's a pleasure to have you. If you're back for more, I appreciate the support. If you have not subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and join us here on the mountain. So today we are going to be talking about, I'm actually going to be showing you how to do something that I do. So this guy here has got this little spatula bumper, also known as a stinger bumper. I am going to be making one for the Power Wagon. I'm going to show you tips and tricks on how I do that and how to do it. So I have got some basic materials here. I've got a little teeny piece of styrene, and I've got a piece of styrene rod, and I have this glue right here, which I'm going to call it plastic cement because it kind of fuses styrene together, and I like that it's non-toxic. It doesn't have a harsh smell, unlike something like that, which I'm not going to be using today. They had glue on sale, so I couldn't find this, so I bought a bunch of that. So we're going to be using this and some styrene and some paint to give us a bumper on this guy. So I'm going to bring you guys in on closer, and this is going to be episode 1 of Tutorial Tuesday on a Friday. So let's get into the good stuff. I will show you how to do this, or how I do this. Use it if you want, don't. I hope you guys enjoy, so bring in. The idea behind this is to just make it as extremely simple as possible. Super, super simple. So on the Power Wagon, it's got this piece that holds the bumper. I took the bumper off because I wanted more angle of approach, but I kept that. I like to keep things like that. It just kind of protects your servo. It just doesn't look like something's missing. So I'll be doing an episode on this one, but basically I'm using this part to attach the bumper to. I'm just trying to keep it as simple as possible because I'm a simple guy, and that is the name of the game, keeping it simple. I want you guys to be able to do this. I want beginners to be able to do this. So I'm going to use the styrene rod here. I don't know how big I want this to be, but I want it to be big enough to hopefully protect these lights, because I think I've re-glued them like 6-7 times. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a tool that everybody has. This guy finally has a use. I'm just going to pop this in there, and I'm going to slowly bend it, because I have found that if you bend this stuff fast, it breaks. I'm going to put a 90-degree bend in that, or as close to it as I can. Oh, see what I'm talking about? That's a bummer. This is my last stick right now, so hopefully I can not use all of it. I'm going to stop right there. So I've got that. That's my starting point. One of those is going to go right in there. I think I'm going to make it about that tall right there. I'm going to use this again as my my bending radius, and I'm just going to bend it around it because I don't want the angle at the top to be super, super sharp. Now you can kind of see there, it's got a bigger radius than flat. Now the tricky part is getting this to be the same length as the other side, and you can really cut this stuff using anything. I have a hobby knife or pliers work just fine. Cut it there, kind of rebend this. So there we have it. And then this side, I'm just going to make sure I'm coming straight back again, nice and slow, because if I break it, I either have to make the stinger bumper shorter or I have to restart, and I don't want to do either one of those. So that's pretty good. Now I'm going to check it out. It's probably not as tall as I could have made it to protect those lights, but that's okay. I got to do something now. It is one of those. It's a Phillips. I'm going to take this off real quick. I'm going to take this off so I can do the next part, which I did not do on that, but I'm doing on this one because I wanted to try something new, something I saw the other day on a Jeep in real life, and I just thought, I'm gonna try that. If you don't have a pair of tweezers, I highly recommend it, especially if you've got larger fingers that cannot fit in the small spaces. Ooh, where did you go? There it is. All right, now I've got the piece. So I'm gonna have to ream out those holes to be able to get that in there. That's not quite at a 90, but that's okay. Yep, that's just fine. So now what I have to do is ream those holes out on here so the 1/8 inch rod will fit through there. And the reason I'm going to do this before I do the next part is because I'm going to add a little support bar coming across there in one of the spots. And this is all kind of a beginner course, if you will, because I'm going to show you guys in the future how to make one of these. And I mean, I'm impressed at how sturdy this turned out. It's actually sturdier than the stock cage on that's injection molded, or however they do that. This was pretty fun to make, so I'm going to show you guys how to make that. And this is kind of a crash course on how to do that. So I am going to use my trusty old Harbor Freight special. This thing was $9 at Harbor Freight, and it came with all the goodies. I have a little bit in here somewhere that is going to allow me to ream to 1/8 inch, which will perfectly fit that styrene rod and also act as a support. So I'm going to get that opened up to 1/8 inch real quick. Let's see. Safety first. I'm just going to eyeball this and get this as close to 1/8 inch as possible. So close. Little bit more. Don't have overdone it. Yeah, there we go. All right, now our stinger bumper, or the spatula as I like to call it, ouch, fits perfectly in there. Check it out. So now I can just kind of see how I like it, see if it's big enough. Just like that. Probably not as big as I really wanted it, but I'm going to roll with it for right now. It's a little off center, so I'll just kind of work on that. Not sure how that's possible, but that's okay. That is okay. Opa. that's pretty centered. So one thing I do is I just get it to where I like it. So now that I like this shape here, I'm going to take it on this piece of styrene flat plate and trace out the shape on the outside. See if I can do this. It's going to be a challenge. It's moving. It's moving. So there's my shape, and now you can do this with scissors, but I don't have any out here. Maybe I'll go grab some, but just trace the line as best you can. It doesn't have to be perfect because you're gonna sand it anyways down to the right size, so just get it close. Now the cool thing about styrene is once you have a score mark in it, it usually goes very easy after that. Perfect. See that? Now I've got that. I want it to go down probably right there. So I'm going to draw my line. Now this part I am just going to kind of make as square as possible, and that's not bad. Boom. Now I just got to find me sandpaper. Gotta find me sandpaper. Sorry, I got British Baking Championship going on inside, so my mindset is very British right now. I just moved my sandpaper, guys, and now I can't find it. Alright, maybe it's in my box because I organized myself a little bit. So this is just very fine. I don't even know what it is, but it's very, very fine. I'm just gonna... Now, styrene doesn't take a lot of sanding. It sands fairly quick. Kind of round those corners a tiny bit. I'll look at this and make sure I like it. I think it looks great right there. Absolutely stunning. So now I'm going to take my glue. I'm actually going to do this first. Mark. So I've basically just marked on my bumper where the glue needs to stop. Now this glue doesn't set straight away, but it's quick enough that I don't really need to worry about it. I'm just going to use this as my little glue stopper. That's more than plenty. I'm going to use this now to kind of spread that around. Now the good thing about this is if you get too much, you can just sand it off. I want to sand that corner down a little bit more. And I'm just going to place that on there. Give it a little bit of a press. Make sure it's as straight as possible. Now I'm a little picky. I've got a little excess glue in there. I'm just going to scrape it out very gently. Maybe spread it down in there. Beautiful. So now I'm going to let that sit for a minute. And then we're going to get paint on it and get it installed. Now I probably won't put any screws in this episode, but what I will end up doing is with a very tiny little thing like that, I'll start a screw hole and then just drive a screw into it so it can't come out. So I will be right back, and we'll get this painted. So when I come back, you will see a black Stinger bumper. We're just out here on the front porch. Gonna give it a little paint. I'm just using regular paint. One thing I've learned is I usually go too heavy on the first coat and get drips. So take your time, do 1 or 2 coats. So it's too cold for this paint. Too cold for the paint. We'll come back. It's not even windy. Sure, the wind picks up. That happened. Well, since I'm going to have to paint the front again, we're just going to get the back a coat. All right, we're back coming at you with the spatula bumper. I'm going to put it back on and show you just how easy that was. Let me get this screwed on and we will do the big unveil. I am going to be honest, I wish it was a 1/2 inch bigger, so I might end up remaking this in the future, but the beauty of it is that you can do this however you want to do this. Okay, we will use gravity to our advantage. End up working it back a little bit more. But there you have it. We'll get some sick close-ups of this. So there you go, folks. Tutorial Tuesday on a Friday for a Stinger bumper. There we go. I mean, does it get more American than that? Yeah, it probably does, but that's okay. Get out of my light there and it'll look a lot better. Sweet. I'm decently happy with that. I wish it was maybe a little taller, but you can see I just used the piece that came with it. Super, super easy. Super easy. There you have it, team. Stinger bumper. Really simple, really easy, super affordable. So you can get, this is 1/8 inch styrene rod. I honestly don't know the thickness of this, but it's the thicker stuff. It's not too flimsy. It is bendable. You can buy it in like 12 by 10 sheets or something like that at Hobby Lobby, Michael's, Amazon. You can get it in all those fun places. You can buy it in bulk, whatever. Styrene rod and styrene sheets. That's all I've really used so far. Thank you for joining me on the first ever Tutorial Tuesday on a Friday. And you kind of got a sneak peek at what I'm doing to the Go-Go Power Wagon named Roy. There you get a tiny bit of a sneak peek right there. Yeah, thanks for joining me today. Hope you guys have a killer weekend, as it is Friday when I'm launching this. And hope you have a good day anytime you watch this. Thanks for joining me here on the Mountain Olympians. Again, if you watched it this far, I really appreciate it. Tell me what you think. What do you think of this this spatula stinger bumper? Probably would have liked it to have been a 1/4 inch longer, but you know what? That's okay. I can live with it. Yeah. Thanks for joining me. Later.